Mike, could you please introduce our guest?
Yeah, Bob, the podium's yours if you want to come up here. The, Bob Bienenstein is a member of Cloudbusters, he's a member of Balsa Bugs, he's a member of the Toledo Week Signals, he puts out the Toledo Show. He's a member of the AMA Hall of Fame, and he shoots these things straight up in the air and up by the rafters, they turn over and they float down and take about 40, 45 minutes, so. Nobody else in the club is getting more than 25 seconds, so this is be worthwhile. And I think your questions, you have no problem with questions.
No, not at all. The thing I can say, the first thing you want to do with a catapult glider, you want to 0, 0. If you get a kit and it shows it has X positive instances in the wing, take it out. You want the wing at 0 and you want the elevator at 0. And you want a little upsweep in the leading edge. The wing section I use, you see it? I use 1/8" balsa, 3" wide, and a 30% high point. Got a 30-second upsweep. And I use bass, you can use bass or spruce for a leading edge piece. This is good for when you hit the girders, if you do. You can see here I had a notch in here, and I fixed how fast the glider around. I picked out this Cessna tweak, and the reason I picked this design, it has a straight tapered wing. It's easy to, this line happens to fall right on the 30% line. It's a sheet metal work line. And what I do to make the wing to start with, I make 2 halves. I don't make this in one piece. I make 2 separate pieces. Make a template. I got a template out of the balsa. Pass this around. This is the wood I use. It's 4.5 pound balsa if you can get it and find it. And it's a very, very important to keep your wings light. The first thing you do is you blank out, you cut out the outline of the wing. You mark your taper line, don't mark your taper line here. And you straight taper the wing from 1/8 to 1/16 out of the tip, the whole sheet. Now you've got a sheet that's straight tapered this way, and you got the outline this way. Then you take a piece of masking tape at the high point, and lay the masking tape right at the high point here, and then you straight taper the trailing edge down, absolutely flat. Flat taper this way. And the leading edge is rounded off like on the section here. It's typical curved leading edge to your hard line basswood. And then you shape the whole top of the wing. And then when you do the bottom, you want to make sure you have a little bit of upsweep in the trailing edge. This is very critical in a rollout. This is what helps the airplane recover. Because when it gets up in here, and you're getting up to the top, and the model's going up this way, and as it rolls out this way, the tips are still climbing, the center section's starting to stall, and that helps it recover.
You need that up taper on both wing
Both
ends?
wing tips.
Okay. So you make both wings the same way?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You make one wing. If you want to make one wing, then you can take templates off it and make sure you're matching up this other wing. If you got a micrometer, use a micrometer, check your high point here, check a couple sections in each wing.
I assume you're hand sanding?
Oh, yeah.
Hand sanding?
Yeah, well, you use I use flat boards, they're about that long. So you can stand flat. You don't want to get waves. And you don't want to use really coarse paper, and you don't want to do it hard, because you'll start to warp the wood. If you start getting the wood warm, you're going to start to warp it. So you want to be very careful on your sanding. Don't be too aggressive.
So Bob, you're putting washout at the tips then, right?
Yep.
Basically, that's what it amounts to.
We'll wash out the wing tips. Not much, about a 30-second each tip. You can, I'll pass the lighter around, you can take a look at it. And the other thing, when you The tail sections, I noticed, I looked at some of the fellows' gliders that they're building. They're not taking much care with the tail. You want to keep the tails light. Take 30-second balsa wood, sand it down. You don't have to sand it down rough. And the leading edge you can leave almost 1/32, and just straight taper the trailing edge down this way, down to the grid. And the support, I put a little support. The fuselage is only a 1/16 on this glider. And I run 2 pieces of carbon strips started down the side of the fuselage, one on either side, and this stiffens it. Because if you have a fuselage that's really wiggly, and when you catapult it, that back end will whip on it. The other thing, when you mount the wing, normally on a high-performance catapult, you wouldn't have as much trouble as you do with a scale catapult glider trying to mount a wing. Make sure the bottom is straight, and you're going to have, I use some undercaper in my wings also. When you flying in this site right here, I could use probably another 30-second undercaper, and I won't hit the girders. Because you really want to shoot the glider so it gets its maximum altitude that it can with the power, and that's as high as it can go to roll up. You don't want to be able to shoot the glider and be able to shoot through the roof, because that's all wasted energy, and it means your glider is way too heavy and it's not for that ceiling. So it might take you 2 or 3 gliders before you get one that you can have that will fly in this arena.
What are you using for you're using carbon fiber as a stiffener?
Yeah, this is 06 by 7,000s. It's what the Wakefield flyers use for cap strips on their ribs.
Okay.
But you can use 2 pieces of 10,000 rods that do the same thing. And what you do with the rod, the good way to put them down is take some cement, some Duco or Android, and you take the rod and you wet the whole rod with cement. And you lay it down and you hit it with thinner, and then lay it down on the fuselage and let it dry, and then it goes one on either side. Or you can use CA. CA's all right. I prefer that if you use CA, use a brush on CA with a little brush, and you put it on it and lay it down flat. I'll pass this around, you guys can take a look at it.
Do you put the carbon fiber on after the wing is installed? Or before?
No, yeah, I do the fuselage, the carbon fiber is put on after the fuselage is cut out and shaped and finished. And then lay the carbon fiber on either side. I pick a spot that was kind of in the center, and you can see when you also when you hold the fuselage back before the tail, right behind the wing is where I hold. And you don't want to hit the tail, and you really want the launch position. You want that up on the forward edge here, and get it up as high as the center of the fuselage as you can. And all your adjustments, like I say, you make sure you got 0-0. And most of these gliders will fly right around between 40 and 50% CG. If you have any CG that's different than that, and when you test glide the glider, and you have that CG on it, then do all your adjustments with your elevator. Either you work the trailing edge of the elevator up, or you work it down to get the glider. And then you take several launches. If you launch about, maybe a 10-degree angle this way, and give it a firm shove with a little left bank to it, and then see how the glider glides around and comes down and sets down. And if you can do that a couple of times without the glider dorking in or stalling on you, then you're ready for a launch. And the first launch is always exciting, so it'll tell you a lot. There are several ways, and I wish you guys would really try this, because once you start flying these and you get them to roll out right and you get them to flying, it's really, really great fun. But there are several ways now I think this glider is probably capable of about 40 seconds if I can do a little bit more trimming. The other thing on the glider, you notice the lettering on there, they're not decals, it's all done with ink. And one of the reasons that's done with ink is because you put decals or you put something over the top, over time, that'll start to work the glider. And the other thing is on the paint. I picked out a white glider. The tweak is a trainer, and because the white glider you can use a light coat of paint, and with the balsa wood you don't have to use a lot of paint to make it look white. Because you get a lot of paint on these gliders, and after about 3 months, the glider's going to start to work. And then you might as well forget it because you won't get it to fly. It'll do all kinds of funny things and it'll be hard to retrim. So the best thing is to keep it as light as you can and keep the paint down. That glider weighs 7.5 grams. And I think if you can get a glider in the, say from 10 grams to 6 grams, ideally here it would be a 6 gram glider, and probably with undercamber in it. And the next step after this, I'm going to build another one. I'm going to build one larger than that, and, which would give me a lighter wing loading. Because right now I can overshoot the girder.
What are you using for paint?
Pardon?
What are you using for paint?
I use flower paint on that, or
Floral?
yeah. And kind of a miscoat. And the fuselage I gave it a little bit more, but the wings I tried to keep very light on them. All the numbers they're all done with cutouts, and I just filled in with paint. It takes the stars and bars. Took 2 different types to do it, but there's no weight involved in it. When you get to shooting, I call this my rubber motor. The ideal thing is you can adjust this. Right now, this is a little bit too short. And I can either do one thing, is either make the rubber a little bit thinner. It's 1/8, and if I cut it down to maybe 0.90, then I would be able to take a full stretch and launch it, and that would give me the ceiling height I want. Right now, if I stretch this a little bit too far, I'll hit the girders. So I really want to cut that down by cutting the rubber down this way.
Is that the 64th ply on the front?
That's 64th ply on either side, a little piece of 64th ply on either side. The other thing, when you're mounting your wing, what I do on the wing is I don't try to put a V in where the wing is. I put a very slight angle, and I put the left panel out on the outer edge so that the inner panel is the one that's attached to the fuselage. Because this will give me a little bit more weight on my left hand, my wing side, which is my turn side.
Would you say that again?
Yeah, please.
He's making the left wing slightly longer than the right wing.
Oh,
Well, that's like control line guys making the right wing slightly longer than the
This,
left.
the edge of this wing, the center of the wing is right here on the edge of the fuselage.
So it's offset.
It's offset, not very much, about maybe a 1/16 of an inch is all it is.
Well, technically, 32nd.
Yeah, 1/16 of it. So that you're,
I thought that's what I saw.
yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
And that way, and sometimes you want a little bit more turn, you can add a little clay on the tip. Use a very little rudder. Because if you use too much rudder, it'll spiral in. And that's really noticeable when you fly them outdoor. I wouldn't recommend taking this design and flying it outdoor the way it is. There are a few things you have to do to it if you fly outdoor. Indoor and outdoor are two different animals. And,
Is there a different dihedral that you put in that model compared to others? How much dihedral in the wing?
oh, you know, 7 degrees, that's all you can use. You gotta be careful you don't go over the max limit. It's either up to the bottom of the canopy, if it's a low wing airplane, which if it was a higher canopy, you could put more dihedral in it. But this is up to the legal side. And 7 degrees, if you keep it 7 degrees, you're all right. That's what it is, 7 degrees.
Bob, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
When you're adding the reinforcement to the leading edge, do you do that before you sand and then?
Before you even carve it, while the airplane, while a piece of wood is still in its shape, your outline shape, you put the leading edge on at that time. And I use the cement. I use type bond cement in all my gliders. In fact, all my building I use type bond. And then I just like it. And you wet the leading edge when you put it on, and you use tape on cement. And you just lay it on the leading edge and let it dry when it's dry. And that gives you a really hard edge to the machine. And that is the first, I reiterate the fact that you put the little upsweep in, the first thing you do is put the upsweep in.
Kind of like a Clark Y.
Yeah, a 30 second upsweep, not much, 30 seconds. That gives you your positive instance. That keeps it from diving in. And other than that, there are gliders I've seen, the twin boom gliders, they're fun, but they're awful hard. And the twin boom, twin rudders, it just gives you something else to play with. Because you got to remember when you shoot this glider, it's really going at a pretty good rate, and you're going from 35 miles an hour to zero in a very short period of time. And you really want a glider that is.
So you think that's got better potential than the Miles? And the M100, that Miles?
Well, the M100 is hard to get a good roll out. This glider really rolls out nice, and it's consistent.
Okay.
I think I had every flight I've had was a flight of over 30 seconds, or it hit the girders. I had two of them. I hit the girders twice on it, and the rest were all rolled out fine. And you really want a consistent glider that you can count on. I think you can. All your falls can go on they'll get over 20 seconds, no problem.
Could you explain again how you're doing the markings?
I make the cutouts so like you do a this is stencil, and now all I do is fill in the stencil. And this was an experiment. This one, it was the first one. And you see, I got better when I did this. I got this.
You said you're using ink. What type of ink are you using?
Pens.
Just pens.
Just pens. Marking pens.
Like fountain pen.
Yeah, felt.
Point Sharpies.
You got a hand. Well, I
You have to steady your hand tonight with those.
yeah,
With the stencil.
but the only thing I did, I didn't cheat on this one. U.S. Air Force, that's done on tissue paper. That was on my printer, and I just that was too much work to do that. I didn't want to do the cutouts.
Bob, when you launch, do you launch at an angle, straight up? What the? This is where he's going to launch it and show us how it hits the ceiling.
Yeah.
That's the launch right there.
Okay.
This,
45 degrees.
yeah. It'll go up like that. What it does is does it roll this way and then comes out this way.
So it's a right-left pattern.
And one roll.
So it's a right-left pattern.
Yeah, right up.
And it doesn't lose any altitude. Also.
And the other thing is, if you really want to get creative and you want to start flying and getting more time, you put a little notch in here, about 3/4 of an inch, and you start bending your trailing edges down. And now you got a flat trailing edge, but you have to have a very light wood. That would require you to take 2 pieces of wood like this This piece would be quarter grain, and then the trailing edge would be straight grain, and the straight grain would be flat.
Right.
But with paint on it, you have to be very careful because it'll wave on you, it'll start to work. That's the next step. If you want to get more time, you can do that. And then you'll have a glider that'll bunt. You can almost shoot it straight up and it'll bunt this way. But they become tricky, but they're a lot of fun. I'll bring out one of those gliders and I'll show you how they work. That's about it. Everybody.
What wouldn't look,
Now, you know what you're looking for?
What I would do is put a notch in here, put a saw cut here, and a saw cut here, and then work this down. But this would be done with a different piece of wood, a very light piece of wood. And then when you shoot it, it would be like a flap. It would go up this way under air pressure. And then
okay.
when it recovered, then it comes down and then it comes down.
So the speed slows down now. If it's the Science Olympiad, I don't know if anybody's flying that anymore. A couple of years ago, a lot of the kids at Science Olympiad were flying a kit, and they actually used a piece of foam. But you had to set the foam down to maybe 5,000ths to get it to react. But the foam would, then you work the foam so it had a little bit of, it looked like a flap hanging down there. But the foam was so light and sanded so thin, as soon as you launched it, would pop up.
Yeah, but those are only 30-foot ceilings too.
Yeah.
Low ceilings. You can do the flap will be good up until this ceiling here. After this ceiling, the flap is not, you can't make it strong enough to take any more out. You'll blow the wings out. Any other questions on it?
What's the wingspan on
I think that's about 14 inches.
How big is the next one?
I'd like to go to get up about 60 square inches.
So that's
That's about 35,
it's almost double.
35.
What's the T-37?
Pardon?
The T-37 jet?
Yeah. Sweet. T-37.
Sure is a lot of science in this.
Yes, there is.
And even more sawdust.
It takes the time to. It takes me about 3 days to build one of those. Of course, I don't build like I used. I used to build one in one day. I start with the wing, you get the wing done on it, and the fuselage, and the elevator runners, no time at all. But the biggest time is finished with the cat glider, is finishing them off. It's getting the decorations on it. And making sure you don't get too much paint on it. Because that paint is a killer. It not only warps the airplane, but it also adds weight to it. If you want to keep those things under 7-8 grams flying in there. The bigger glider, you can go up a little bit higher. I figure the bigger glider go around 10 grams, but I'll also have quite a bit more wing area, so the wing load will be down. And then you can shoot it up. Now, normally outside, you don't want a big glider because you can't get them very high. But in a 70-foot ceiling, a 70 square inch glider is no problem at all. But anything higher than that, you don't want to get a big glider. But you just can't physically get it up to go higher.
Is there a limitation to the size of rubber?
No, only the handle on indoor, not on.
Well, FAC, you're limited to a 9-inch long loop, and it can be a maximum of 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
Uh,
9 inches as long as you can go here. So to cut this down, you have to trim down the rubber here. Now in indoor and A&A, you have a 9-inch loop, 9-inch loop in A&A outdoor, but indoor there's no limit to the size of rubber indoor. Because when you have a very light glider, like in a low ceiling, you can end up with a piece of 16 rubber, and it could be 12 inches long or 13 inches long. Because you don't want this really hard energy to start with. Because you have a short loop with a hard piece of rubber, and you put it, you're gonna have a lot of energy when that glider first releases. And if the glider's too light, it'll blow the wings off.
And you said there was a limitation to the peg, the handle on it, or?
Yeah, 6 inches long.
That for AMA.
Why, I don't know, I think it's.
I don't know, is it one on FAC?
I think 6 inches. 6 inches.
Is it?
6 inches, yeah. It's also 6 inches.
I didn't remember.
Yeah, 9 inch loop and 6 inches,
What's the maximum on the cross section?
Which is
yeah.
Yeah, 1/4 inch max cross section on the rubber. So either a piece of quarter or 2 loops of 8.
Yeah, I would cut like this slider here, I could probably cut this rubber down to a 1/10 of an inch instead of an 1/8 of an inch. So I get a little bit more stretch and a little bit less power that way. That way I can regulate my ceiling height. Any other questions? Use your good wood, that's it.
It is.
Thank you,
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.